You like Druid as a healer? We have a heal Druid in our raid, and he's really good. Yeah, I've always really liked it. I don't know. My biggest reason I didn't do it going into Shadowlands is I'm tired of it. I've done it for so long that
Oops, shit, I forgot. I've not played a whole lot of.
it feels comfortable to me. So just looking for something fresh, and Priest is nice because it has two very different heal styles, so I can bounce around between Disc and Holy and stuff like that. I'm already kind of feeling that now. It just feels normal. So even though I just leveled this guy up, I may also level up.
Okay.
Shoot. I may also level up my shaman.
This next pack
like
is really not that threatening. So
I mean, it is really fun and it feels very strong, and I like the addition of Convoke and stuff like that, and also the fact that as balance we also get Eclipse and stuff like that. Can you explain the core difference between Druid and Holy Priest? Well, I mean, the kind of how you heal. Okay. I mean, biggest thing that you can think of with Druid is it's very similar to Disc. But instead of like the way that I think of Disc is it's like Resto Druid, but in order to get your heal over time effects, your heal over time comes from dealing damage, and so it's kind of like with Disc you. In a mythic setting, you're dealing damage, and that's like your generator. It's like your battery. When you put atonements on people, you're plugging them into that battery. And as you plug more people into the battery, it gets weaker and weaker because of Sins of the Many and stuff. Druid is similar, except for you apply all the hots and stuff like that, and then once the hots are applied, then you're freed up to do either more healing with hots. Like for example, I'm seeing that the monk is starting to take some more damage, so I'm starting to layer on some more healing, and he's good now. I don't have to worry about him for a while, so now I'm going to look at my other party members and put rejuves up. They're good. Probably need a little bit more, so now I'm putting on my second layer of regrowth.
This is going to be survival.
And it's just about blanketing on more and more healing to respond to what's going on with the damage, because of how mastery works.
But you don't ever get rid of your shit.
Because of how mastery works, you heal more and more. So Druid Mastery
do that one day.
is your healing is increased for every heal over time on your target. So the more that you lather on somebody, it exponentially increases more and more.
Whatever.
So Disc,
I get it eventually.
Disc will have more consistent damage because you have to deal damage in order to heal.
I do have it.
I'm talking all of this from a Mythic Plus perspective, by the way.
It's like the one thing. It's like
Discord. Disc will have consistent damage because you're dealing damage in order to heal and stuff like that. Whereas Druid is kind of like, you respond as needed, and then you can dip into dealing damage. Holy, so it's a heal over time instead of direct healing with a Holy Priest. Yeah, Holy Priest and Druid are going to feel the most different, because Holy Priest, especially with Flash Concentration, feels more like a more traditional ranged paladin with just really chunky shotgun heals from ranged. Whereas Druid is just more, it's more like stabilization. It's like I need to add, like for example, this he's taking damage. I put a rejuve on. He's stabilized. He's not really taking any more damage. I'm going to leave him alone. I'm going to go ahead and put up Wild Growth, which puts heal over times on everybody. Tank is taking damage. I'm going to keep adding on heal over time effects on him. He's good. So now I ignore him. I go into Moon Conform, and I'm focusing on dealing damage here. And I'm watching the health. Everybody's good. Okay, my hots are starting to fall off on the tank. I'm going to go ahead and put some of my hots up. And you're not going to see his health spike up Instead, you're just going to see he's stable, and you just kind of have to be patient. He's not being patient, he's healing himself up, but he's totally fine. So it's more about like just stabilizing the group, and it's not going to have that big chunky jump. That's one of the reasons I've kind of become disenchanted with Resto. Is it doesn't feel as satisfying to me, just because I've done it for so long. Because you don't see that immediate heal. It's more like I was going to use an EVE Online example, but I don't know if you play EVE. It's kind of like logistics ships in EVE, where the goal is to like catch the damage, and then eventually they'll recover, and the enemy won't be able to damage them past your healing, because your healing is more powerful. It's just about being able to catch the damage. Because as Holy, you don't really have a heal over time. Yeah, Holy. So, let's swap this to a raid setting. In raid, the three actually play fairly similar. I would say Disc plays a little bit more similar to Resto Druid, and they kind of fill the same role compared to Holy. Holy's got a lot more of those, the spot heals. Holy Priest feels a lot more like Resto Shaman, honestly. Whereas Disc and Resto Druid are very similar. So the role of both Disc and Resto Druid in a raid scenario is to know when the damage windows are coming, be able to set up in advance, and then as soon as the damage hits, you're already set up and ready to go, and you've got healing going out. For Disc, that looks like having shields. For Resto, that looks like having rejuves up and stuff like that, so that as soon as the damage hits, you can use something like Flourish to extend the duration of all your heals. So, whereas Holy, you see the individual damage, and you just spot heal it to stabilize the people who are most likely to die right away. Okay, thank you. Really good. Now I understand. Wondering how our druid gets so much healing on our party members. He puts hots on everybody. Can't compete as Holy. It really depends on the fight. And it also depends on the Resto Druid, because if the Resto Druid is bad about preempting damage, then, like, let's say, for example, Blood Price in Sire Denathrius. If he wasn't already preparing heal over times in advance, Blood Price hits, and if he starts healing everybody, he's not set up to heal for another, like, 5 to 10 seconds. Whereas you as a Holy Priest, you're chunk, 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 or just pop something like Divine Hymn or something like that, or Holy Word Salvation, like you've got a big chunky heal to get people up right away. So it really is on the Resto Druid. It's kind of like Disc Priest. Like, a good Disc Priest won't allow you to have any healing left over. They're going to suck it all up with their shields, and then you're just sitting there like, well, I didn't actually even have a chance to heal. So here it's looking a little scary. I'm going to go ahead and Tranquility, which is my big cooldown, one of my cooldowns, which works kind of like a Divine Hymn. It's just, it also applies a heal over time effect. And remember, my mastery makes it so that all of my heal over times stack up, and each heal over time makes all of the other heal over times heal for more. So that's why Druids are considered so strong for Mythic Plus content and less so for raids, because I can stack up multiple heal over times on all of the party. Whereas in raid, like, I'm lucky to get 1 or 2 on everybody. And so I'm not really benefiting from mastery that much. Peter, hey Ragnar, will you play Disc again sometime? Absolutely. Mostly in Mythic Plus. I've actually been itching to play some Disc the past day or two. It's just, the only problem is it's Grievous, and it's so terrible, and this is not the week to have a Disc itch, so I'm holding off. As far as raids go, I'll play it if I need to, but there's 2 problems. The first problem is I raid lead, and so I get very easily distracted, and my attention gets split, and I miss ramp windows and stuff like that, and it's just not good. So that's one problem. The second problem, and probably a bigger problem, is that now being Night Fae, I can't really viably play, especially in Mythic raiding, I can't viably play Disc. You need to have mind games, unfortunately. So, yeah, that's a problem. I need to have mind games. So what that means is I'm kind of stuck playing Holy and playing Shadow, because both Holy and Shadow Night Fae is incredible for. So I don't really want to drop Night Fae and grab Venthyr, which is suboptimal for Holy. It really feels bad in keys. And it's also not great for the Shadowfire Prism Legendary for Shadow. So I'll just suck it up and not play Disc in raids, because Night Fae is incredible for all three specs and everything except for raiding as Disc. You know, it's great for Disc in keys because you get the mana back and stuff like that, and you add that extra level of support. But yeah. Long story short, yes, I'm going to be playing some more Disc, just mostly in dungeons, and probably not this week unless somebody really wants to see how to heal Grievous's Disc. But really, my answer is just to play Holy this week. I do things. Did you see the new raid boss testing yesterday? I saw a little bit on some videos that that Automatic Jack put out when he was talking about Spirit Shell. They look pretty sweet. I didn't watch like the fights in depth. I was kind of driving and just listening to it, but they look really cool. I was doing some keys yesterday and feel like this week is really hard for healers. Yeah, it is, especially in higher keys. It gets to a point where you can't really push, especially when you factor in Fortified Pridefuls. Like Fortified Pridefuls on an 18 plus with DPS that, you know, if you're in a pug situation, are not popping cooldowns, unfortunately, on Prideful. You're getting up to like 20 stacks with Grievous. It's really rough. But luckily, Holy Priest is arguably one of the best, if not the best, to manage Grievous, just because you have. Whoa! How did I get aggro there? Okay, so let me talk through what I'm doing here. Okay, so I'm stabilizing the tank. So here I don't have any big chunky heals to get everybody up, but luckily everybody's stunned. So I'm just using this time to set up and get everybody going. I have aggro on something. So my first layer is rejuvenation. Second layer after that is regrowth. If multiple people are taking damage, wild growth is a great active heal. If I have time and mana to throw it down, mushroom can be very nice because it with my talents, it's proccing an extra heal over time with Spring Blossoms, so that's granting a mastery bonus. So anyways, and the way I chunked up the tank, I can do that every now and then, is with Swift Mend. So you run Swift Mend, it removes one of my heal over times and chunks them up for a lot of healing, and then I use Nature Swiftness, which makes one of my abilities an instant cast. I don't know how I didn't get hit there. And then because of my Nature's Soul of the Forest, it empowers one of my abilities after I use Swift Mend, so I can use that to make my regrowth a really chunky single target heal. But Grievous with Shadow Covenant, Mind Games is crucial for Disc, yeah, for raids especially. But yeah, I was doing some Shadow Covenant Disc, and it does feel fairly good. Man, it makes your Shadow Mend hit really hard. Like it heals for a ton. It's just, you spend so much time shadow mending, and you're like, you know, if I'm just going to be casting single target heals, I could just be playing Holy. Like, I'm not dealing any damage. And with Holy, you can recover quicker, and then you can throw out some, like, Divine Stars and stuff like that, and you end up dealing about the same, if not more damage than Disc. At least I do. Because I recover faster, and then I can just go back to DPSing. But, yeah. It's just Grievous. The way that you have to think about Grievous is you have to build bad healing habits. Look at this tiger dash. You have to build bad healing habits. Like, as you get better and better at healing, you start getting into the habit of, you know, like, I don't need, like, I have lower health right now. I'm not in really any danger right now, so I'm going to be fine. I'm not too worried. I can apply some hots and just kind of wait it out. But with Grievous, you have to get into the mindset of, if somebody starts getting stacks, you have to top them up. And so that you get a lot of overhealing, you spend a lot less time damaging, and in any other week, in any other week, that's bad habits. But for Grievous, you just kind of have to untrain that and go back into new healer mode of wanting to top everybody off right away. Grievous taking 1 stack per hit, yeah, that's really strong for sure. That's really nice to help somebody recover quickly, especially a tank or something. Oh, we pulled the... Dude, that sucks. So how do you manage this week? Is Holy, just pushing Holy and everyone. So you definitely run Flash Concentration. I had the last Grievous week, I had a viewer that asked if I could try running a Harmonious Apparatus. It was really rough. The big reason it was rough is because with Harmonious Apparatus, your group healing comes from Prayer of Healing, right? Prayer of Healing doesn't remove Grievous at all. So what ends up happening is the only way that you can remove Grievous effectively is by playing pretty much the Flash Concentration style. You're using single target heals, and then if you're doing that, you might as well just be running Flash Concentration because it does it night and day better. So that was the last time I'm ever going to run Harmonious Apparatus in the Grievous week because it's really, really bad for that. It's probably fine still in, you know, sub 18 keys, but Flash Concentration is just so stinking good in general that you really need it if you start pumping higher keys, pushing higher keys. And as far as how you manage this week is Holy, again, focus less on dealing damage. Really, just maybe you could pop a Divine Star every now and then. But honestly, I would probably recommend running Benediction because you're just going to be spending a lot of time healing, and Benediction allows you to keep people more topped off. It's not going to remove any stacks of Grievous, but it is going to help people stay more topped off, and it's just passive healing. Any other week, I'd Divine Star because it's just easy damage. You just throw it out, and it deals a ton of extra damage on mobs and stuff like that for 1 global. Divine Star doesn't remove it. I do not believe it does. I actually have a list. I don't have it here, but Yumi put out a video, I want to say yesterday, where he talked about tips on healing Grievous, and he actually referenced somebody's Twitter account that posted a picture of a chart that shows all of the abilities that removes Grievous and all the ones that don't. And so Divine Star does not, I don't believe. So, yeah, Divine Star is mostly for, the reason I mentioned that was just to fit in some extra damage. That's going to be the easiest way for you to get some damage in. But I would just really recommend just doing Benediction instead. Don't worry about the damage this week. What's going to separate you from, as a healer from groups that aren't completing keys is your ability to manage Grievous, not your DPS. Because if you focus on knocking out the healer affix, with it being Grievous, if you manage that so that the DPS don't really have to worry about it, and the tank manages Sanguine, the DPS are free to do whatever the heck they want. This is actually, if you can manage your job and the tank can manage his job with Sanguine, this is actually a fairly decent week. It's just really hard on healers. So, but yeah, I feel like I'm just rambling at this point. Another tip that you can do, the reason that Holy is so nice is because you have really chunky heals with Flash Concentration. You have a...
struck a deal for old Odin's eye and made the Banshee watch him with a whisper.
You think you're one boss man? Maybe you've been skulking in the shadows for too long. Come on now, heroes. Bring the mojo back and help me put this old lower in.
So sorry, you heal somebody up to full as often as you can. But you can use Trail of Light. Trail of Light does not remove stacks of Grievous, but what you can do is you can use that to help blanket the group and stabilize, remove some extra stacks if things have gotten a little out of control. And then after you get the group to where you've got like multiple people down to like 1 or 2 stacks, then you start chunking up one person at a time with things like Serenity and stuff like that. Serenity is such a good tool to burst somebody up to full health and get them past that threshold. So here, we're taking a lot of ticking damage. I'm managing with rejuvenation, just get stacks up on everybody, because I want us to go into the DPS phase as full as possible. Everybody's good. I'm going to go ahead and throw a mushroom down in melee so our melee can focus on, so our melee don't have to take so much damage. A big strength about Druid is you notice how much I'm moving. I'm going back to my old my old habits of playing kind of like I'm playing Beast Mastery. Druid is extremely mobile. Like the only ability that I need to stand still to cast is Regrowth, and I'm only doing that as a secondary layer of healing. So, okay. So here I'm going to go ahead and mushroom, get a quick hot, and we're going to go ahead and Heart of the Wild and Convoke. And goodbye, Visage. Beautiful.
You never care about your people. Only power.
What? I just clicked it really fast. Sorry, I've been really quiet. I've been talking to String. Nice. Is that Touch of Death? No, it's damage.